How much does 100,000 different accounts cost? That alone, not even the equipment. You need 100,000 SIM cards with how many minutes on them? We're like, it's gotta be millions of dollars, right? Escalator's working and somebody shut it off. Look at this.
I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
Secret Service with a major bust, and they're really hitting the warning button on this one. They're telling us that they intercepted this network that they found in houses all around the New York area where the UN was meeting at this time. Right before they busted this, the UN was scheduled to start their meetings, and they stopped whatever was going on here from being in operation while those meetings got underway. But here is what they're reporting here. From the Secret Service account, you can see we got some photographs and more explaining the Secret Service dismantled a network of more than 300 SIM servers and 100,000 SIM cards in the New York area. They were capable of crippling telecom systems and carrying out anonymous telephonic attacks. And NBC was reporting that some of these devices were used to convey assassination threats. Disrupting the threat has now been accomplished before the leaders arrived in the UN. And here are some photos of what's going on. So they're telling us 100,000 SIM cards in these servers, and that's just one photo, all set up in some random apartment. Looks like you might have a cable modem there plugged in, maybe getting some local internet so that they can access and run the machines. And then the machines, of course, all connected to a bunch of the SIM cards. And so we'll look in at for more pictures, but you can see lots of antenna, each one of those, presumably a separate SIM card, and weird stuff happening. So more from the Secret Service. They explain the Secret Service, this is from their website, published today, explaining the Secret Service dismantled a network of electronic devices located throughout the New York tri-state area that were used to conduct multiple telecommunications-related threats directed towards senior U.S. government officials, which represented an imminent threat to the agency's protective operations. This protective intelligence investigation led to the discovery of more than 300 co-located SIM servers and 100,000 SIM cards across multiple sites. Not one building, multiple locations. How much does that even cost? In addition to carrying out anonymous telephonic threats, these devices could be used to conduct a wide range of telecommunications attacks, including disabling cell phone towers, enabling denial of service attacks, and facilitating anonymous encrypted communication between potential threat actors and criminal enterprises. Now, while forensic examination of these devices is ongoing, early analysis indicates cellular communications between nation-state threat actors set this up and individuals that are known to federal law enforcement. Sean Curran, the U.S. Secret Service director, said, "The potential for disruption to our country's telecommunications posed by this network of devices cannot be overstated. The U.S. Secret Service protective mission is all about prevention, and this investigation makes it clear to potential bad actors that imminent threats to our protectees will be immediately investigated, tracked down, and dismantled." These devices were concentrated within 35 miles of the global meeting of the United Nations General Assembly, now underway in New York City. And given the timing, location, and potential for significant disruption to the New York telecommunications posed by these devices, the agency moved quickly to disrupt this network. The U.S. Secret Service Advanced Threat Interdiction Unit, a new section of the agency dedicated to disrupting the most significant and imminent threats to our protectees, is conducting this investigation, and this investigation is currently ongoing. Bunch of agencies involved in this, and hopefully more is revealed. And here were some of the photos. These are the SIM cards. Now, this company is called Mobile X, and they responded to this. We've got an update from CNN on what they said, but 100,000 of these numbers. And you can think about denial of service. Like, what if you had 100,000 phone numbers all calling, different things and repeatedly calling, all this stuff? It would just clog the entire network, right? So nobody could use anything because it's all the bandwidth is being sucked up from these bad actors. Very strange. And what does that cost? How much does 100,000 different accounts cost? That alone, not even the equipment. You need 100,000 SIM cards with how many minutes on them? We're like, it's got to be millions of dollars, right? I would guess. I don't know. 100,000? Well, are they $10 a piece? Now, here you go. Here's another room. So multiple locations, multiple sites. Looks like the same configuration in a different room. You've got some sort of modem, a switch, bunch of devices all connected to the switch and being controlled remotely, probably by some foreign intelligence. Stuff like this, right? Who can afford it? Who can set it up and pull it off? It's normally nation states. Now, here is another location. Crazy! Set up with all of these SIM cards cards tucked into these servers, beaming all over the place. Man, probably get a headache just being in there from all the EMF. 100,000. Think about all the bots on the internet, okay? All with their unique SIM cards and IMEIs or whatever to identify them. And just running off AI and system all over the place. Or doing something much more nefarious, like trying to clog the lines when they launch an attack so that the response is neutered and watered down. Here's another close-up how you can see all of the antenna, right? Kind of each one of those, I would imagine, is connecting one SIM card to the network, or maybe one can handle two of them, but 100,000 of them. Here's another screenshot, another photograph. They even have them labeled. Oh, that's rack 203 plugged in. What does this cost? Here's another one. This guy just set it on his desk. Oh my gosh. Look at this. So multiple locations, and that's what they just released. So it's definitely another country. Any guesses? Here's what CNN's reporting, saying what we have now, there were 300 servers capable of crippling New York, the entire cell system. Now, this is interesting. They give us some background. They take us back to Christmas 2023. They say a man called the suicide prevention hotline claiming he was going to eliminate himself after eliminating his girlfriend. Police barreled toward the address, but turned around before they arrived. Why? It was a hoax. That was Marjorie Taylor Greene's house. Then Rick Scott had the same thing happen. Then there were other false alarms. Now, within a month of Trump winning, they were also targeted with threats as well. Now we see another unit was set up to help track these things. The Advanced Threat Interdiction Unit came out from Homeland, along with the Secret Service, DNI, and others. They're trying to unravel the web. But what they found was an operation apparently capable of way worse, far beyond masking swatting calls and potentially disabling cell phone towers, disrupting emergency services, and enabling spies, hackers, and organized crime. The new unit traced the swatting signals to an apartment just outside New York City. They found another rented space, and then they found more. No one was inside. Instead, they found a vast and stunning network of more than 100,000 SIM cards, 300 SIM servers, the largest seizure ever of these devices by the Secret Service, all located within 35 miles of each other in New York City. Now, the servers could be commanded remotely to create massive amounts of phone traffic in a stealthy and unceasing operation that switched out SIM cards quickly to keep federal law enforcement off its trail. Oh, we got that one. No, you don't. It's another one. Nope, here's another one. Use this one for, no, it's another one. Times 100,000. And by the way, the hidden electronic maze was so powerful, it could have sent an encrypted and anonymous text to every human being in the United States within 12 minutes. Maybe that was the plan. It could have overwhelmed cell towers. What if they could do that? Have all the numbers, text every single person. This is the United States Emergency Services. We are under nuclear attack, and bunker down until it's over. The whole nation freaks out or something. So the electronic safe houses were found in places called Armonk, New York, Greenwich, Connecticut, Queens, New York, and across the river in New Jersey, essentially forming a circle around New York's cellular network infrastructure. It's crazy. The Secret Service hasn't announced any arrest or anybody connected to the operation, but its early forensic analysis suggests foreign governments, and criminals in the US have used the network to run their organizations. This includes cartels, human traffickers, could be terrorists, said somebody. The network has been taken down, no longer a threat, but he said it would be unwise to think that there's not other networks around the country. We just happened to catch this one. Secret Service is now working closely to identify other networks, and the potential for disruption here cannot be overstated. And they got in contact with Mobile X, who apparently sold 100,000 SIM cards. They said, we're cooperating. We're aware of recent reports that Mobile X SIM cards, they said, along with those of other providers, or not alone, were recovered during a federal investigation, said their CEO. Our platform is designed to be easy to use and cost-effective, qualities that unfortunately can also attract occasional bad actors. Mobile X has robust safeguards, and we shut down suspicious activity on our networks every single day. So it could stop the capability. It could prevent every Manhattan resident from accessing Google Maps, which would cause gridlock over there because New Yorkers, some of them have a tough time with directions, apparently. I think it's much worse than just accessing Google Maps. If you can't access your data, you can't access anything because the bandwidth is being consumed. So very strange. I would say probably only a handful of countries are capable of doing this. Why would they do it? What is the plan? And who was behind it? Hopefully they tell us what was going on when they find out, but we'll see. Caroline Levitt says, whoa, if someone at the UN intentionally stopped the escalator as the president and Melania were stepping on, they need to be fired and investigated immediately. The Times reported this on Sunday in their magazine. They wrote, to mark Trump's arrival, UN staff members have joked that they may turn off the escalators and the elevators and simply tell him they ran out of money, so he has to walk up the stairs. That's what the Times reported. Caroline Levitt saw that before Trump went to the UN today and before this happened. Here's the president walking to the escalator before some maniacs tried to interfere with the presidential movement and obstruct the president's attempt to go give a speech, for crying out loud. This is what went down.
President Trump, what happened with Chuck Schumer?
Escalator's working, and somebody shut it off. Look at this. Escalator stops. They look around. Secret Service just stands there like bumps on a log going, I guess we'll just let him just stand here and just get shot if somebody was waiting to do that. So they had a clean shot. So they just allow him to walk right up the stairs. They come up the escalator and somebody shut it off. And what we see here is it looks clearly intentional. Okay, who would have stopped it? So somebody up above him. There's the cameraman. Escalator is working perfectly. Somebody's sitting there watching. As soon as they step on, it dies. What a joke. So that was intentional and strange stuff. Right? I know it's very simple. You just walk up an escalator, whatever, escalators break, Rob, stop making a big deal out of things. So, of course, reaction comes in from Susan Crabtree. You may know her as the Secret Service whisperer, our label, not hers. But here's what she says. Why did the Secret Service allow President Trump and Melania to get stalled on an escalator today before his speech without moving quickly to protect the leader of the free world and his wife? They just stood there. The stalled escalator with President Trump and First Lady Melania, she writes, stuck on it was a classic example set up for an assassination hit, but the Secret Service barely even noticed. They didn't pull them off the stop stairs. Secret Service sources are telling her, no, we should have removed him immediately. She talks to them. So while Trump and the DOJ and Pam Bondi, while they celebrate Ryan Ruth's conviction, his security team needs to be vigilant. Today could have been a horrible split screen. Sources in the Secret Service community are very concerned about what they witnessed from fellow agents today, and Trump was stalled and vulnerable. It's a similar critique to the Secret Service's delayed response to getting Trump off the stage in Butler. Yes, the stalled elevator was a UN security failure, but the Secret Service didn't respond to this obvious security threat. This guy is called Rich Staropoli. He's a former Secret Service agent who headed up security teams. He explains that agents surrounding Trump should have closed ranks around him and Melania immediately. Then they should have moved as quickly as possible to get him off the elevator as fast as possible. Now, this is not hard. He says, don't just stand there. That's the issue. Oh man, we're gonna have to walk, Secret Service agent. I'm so tired. My legs hurt. We can't walk upstairs. We can't even stand on sloped roofs. Look, they should have closed ranks right around there, as close as you can be. And you know what? Somebody's got to make the call. We're going to stand here like a bunch of morons, like we did in Butler? Yeah. Or are we going to scoop up the First Lady in POTUS and either go up or down? Because you're boxed in, right? I mean, totally ridiculous. According to this Secret Service person, a former Secret Service agent in the New York field office, the UN security was so difficult to work for and to work with because they wanted to screw with Americans. And they once held up an entrance gate to the building of George Bush's motorcade for 10 minutes while they said, open it quickly. So they just leave the gate closed. Okay, these people are maniacs. We shouldn't give them $1. Eventually, Under Secretary General tried to declare us persona non grata. We almost got into a fight over this. Now, they didn't want to have the magnetometers on because they said it slows everything down. He says, really? How the hell do you know what these people are bringing in there? Why in the world would you shut down the magnetometers? The relationship between the Secret Service and the UN security team has gotten worse. It was always a problem, but now it's getting much worse. Here's more from this dude, and now Caroline is asking about it, rightfully so. And so Susan Crabtree is saying the Secret Service is getting a little bit nervous about all this. But here is the president in the aftermath of the escalator attack, joking about it, and now becoming crystal clear about how worthless the UN actually is.
I don't mind making this speech without a teleprompter because the teleprompter is not working. I feel very happy to be up here with you nevertheless, and that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
All right, so he also was quipping at the escalator, saying how that failed as well. But Susan Crabtree saying this is a significant security risk. Other Secret Service agents confirming that. So we've got some good Secret Service news. They busted this major cell system, and some bad Secret Service news. They kind of stood around like bumps on a log again when the president got shot in Butler, kind of, what's going on over here? Then Trump ducks and then they come in. But in this case too, well, just got to walk up the stairs. Not even a big deal. Hopefully there is some post-event assessment on their performance and this type of stuff doesn't happen again.